The Eduard P51B Mustang, the Malcolm Hood version. This is the US version, but there's also, I imagine coming down the line, there's the RAF version. That's what's really quite useful for the Malcolm Hood. Slightly different to the B. The B is kind of a classic for me. We've got some interesting schemes there as well on the side of the box. Few in olive drab, a few in bare metal with the cowling colour as well. I've always liked the idea of doing a olive drab P51. I've always liked the idea of doing a olive drab P51. This looks like a great kit, so let's have a look inside, see what we got, and think about our plans going forward. So here we are. This is the Malcolm Hood P51B. Again, struggling to fit it on the table. $28.99. I think I got a little discount for this one. Again, bought this at Models, which is where I buy most of my stuff. And you can see there's some nice schemes there. But rather than worry about getting caught up with what's on the box, let's have a look what's in the box. So the main place to start is the instructions. And here we've got pretty much A4 by the looks of it, Profi pack. So that meaning Eduard, we get masks, we get photo etch. Lots of detail there. Usual thing in the cockpit. We've got belts going on, different callouts or different markings, different parts for different markings. We've got A, B, C, D, and E. So you want to pick your one, and then we've got F. So you want to pick what marking you're going to do. Tons of detail. Not built a Mustang, but that's going to change soon. Got a Mustang coming up on the channel in the not too distant future, and it's going to be a D from Eduard, so we'll see how that one goes together. There you go. This cockpit is on paper absolutely stunning. There's an awful lot going on here. Sidewall detail as well, separate, so you glue that on. Wheel wells on the tail wheel. That looks incredible as well, doesn't it? And again, we still haven't got the fuselage together yet. It's intake or where it comes out. That's the intake at the front there. So this is where it comes out. And there we go. Finally getting the fuselage together. And now we've got clear parts going on. So we've got L5. These are these little windows that go on here. And the wheel well. Stunning little unit there we've got for the wheel well. Wings going together. Looks like straightforward stuff. We've got options for racks, so whether that's bombs, fuel tanks, that sort of thing. Then we've got the gun inserts going on, ailerons, fuselage to wing, tailplane all being put together, instrument panel going in now on the combing here, so that's all kept separate, so that's easy as well. We can get all that painted up separately and then just slot that in at this point. And I'm imagining the windshield is going to cover that bit up and make the rest of the combing there at the front. Oh, we've got a bit of colour here. It's been colour all the way through, I suppose. There's the cover. It goes on, it sort of moves up and down. Rest of the underside being fitted. We've got the chin intake and some grills, or again, no doubt intakes. Seems to be the word I'm using here. Then we've got the undercarriage going on. Very nice. Tyres look interesting. Well, we've got the tread pattern and there's a seam line running around the middle, so we'll see how that goes. Then we've got flaps. And now we've got colour markings as to where all of the masks, the masks are put on. It looks like we've got masks for the lights as well. And for the wheels. Still going. Quite a detailed build this for Eduard. Usually they don't go on quite as much as this. 14 pages. Still finishing off. Now we've got exhaust, propeller, canopy. Yeah, and there we are. That's got the sort of end of the cowling and the back of the combing, if you like. And there we go. Oh, it's still not over. So this is different aerials and masts for the different markings. This looks a stunner, doesn't it? So then I think these are the the lighter fuel tanks. I think they're made of either metal, they might have been made of cardboard. I cannot remember, so don't, well, shoot me down in the comments. There you go. That's the fuel tanks. These are the bombs. So you've got all different options going on here for whichever marking you're going to use. So then we've got marking A is P51 B 10 NA, and this is in Great Britain, June, so 8th Air Force, 352nd Fighter Group, and it's George E. Preddy, and that's a nice classic. So what's that? So I can't quite see what this is. Cripes a Mighty, absolute classic scheme. D-Day stripes, blue cowling, blue onto the nose cone as well, and onto the prop. Over silver. Very nice. We've got areas here as well which would be bare metal, and then we've got aluminium painted, and they're called out in different colours. We've got SM201, and then we've got C8, which are the different parts. Then we've got another nice option there with olive drab across the wings and the top of the cowling, and then red on the nose and chin with a stripe there, and that's another one based in Britain at the 8th Air Force, 334th Fighter Squadron, 4th Fighter Group. What's that say? Debden. Yep. And then we go on again. So we've got 357th Fighter Group of the 8th Air Force. Again, Leicester, Great Britain. We've had it. There we are. This is getting a bit more like the ones I like. So you've got the D-Day stripes, plus you've got the full olive drab and the checker pattern as well. Nice scheme, that. And then even more olive drab, which is quite nice. Berlin Express, again based at, as a theme here, I guess they're all based in Great Britain. It's probably called the P51 Mustang Malcolm Hood based in Great Britain. Again, D-Day stripes, nice. Not over the top or lower of the wings, just on the belly. What tail, I suppose that is. Rear of the fuselage, maybe. July 44. So we've got, here's one based in France, July 44, that's the midget. Nice silver ends to the wings there. An olive drab, nice funny looking shark mouth, isn't it? You'd struggle to call that a shark mouth. Kind of weird looking. See, now that's the plainest one. I've got to be honest, that's the one I like the most. How strange. That's just so weird looking. You don't see it. Short fuse Sally, is that? Or Sally? Short fuse Sally? No, short fuse Sally. Yeah, look at that. That's different, isn't it? That's got me thinking, oh, right, okay. Didn't imagine that one would be top of the list. And then we've got the stencil markings as well. Now, this being Eduard, let's look at the decals. So, back along, this used to be as high a point as the photo etch and the masks in an Eduard kit. And they used to have cartograph printed on them. Since the change, even when they did their own, they were great. Since they have changed whatever it was, I think they're loath to admit there was a change, but us modelers know there's a before and an after. It's been a bit hit and miss. So these are 2024. Now, the later ones I've used, the better they've been. I must say, what I'm talking about really doesn't relate to peeling off or anything like that carrier film. My issue relates to registration of the decal and colour density. So I don't see anyone really talking about that much. They're all like, oh, can you peel it off? But I don't care about peeling off the carrier film. We can get the carrier film down. That's not a problem. It's very thin, slightly unforgiving, but it's fine. The problem has been the registration of the colour has been really quite awful. And the red has never been good. It's not that great here. Let me just see if I've got something here. Right, here we go. This is it's not a US roundel. This is an Airfix sheet printed by Cartograph. You can see there, this is for the Typhoon. Nothing massively special, really good, nice tight carrier film, brilliant register. Look at the colour density. It's absolutely, whether it's, let's not talk about whether it's an accurate colour. The pale blue is pale blue, the dark blue is dark blue, the red is red, and the yellow is yellow. There's no messing around. It is what it is, okay? If we take this, it's all a bit, is the red red? Is the red meant to be redder? Or is that the red it's meant to be? There we go. Right. See there's like pixelation across it? It's not a dense single colour. This is the problem with Eduard decals, in my opinion. This is why I don't like them. Nothing to do with carrier film. Yes, they're a little bit of a pain, but they're fine. Even the black isn't black. You should be able to see there as well. There's not really a crispness. There, now you can see, look. If you look in that blue, it's like you can almost see the paper coming through the back of it. It's not, there's no strong density to the colour. There's even a little bit, if we look here, of a blurry edge. See, it's a bit wavy. That's that kind of weird pixelation we're getting. It's not crisp. It's all printed okay, I mean, this is a complex pattern. It's come out, but it's just bland. It's like a brown, not a red. Yeah, now you can see it. Yes, very poor, disappointing. Yes, it's actually disappointing. They used to be great. They haven't changed since the change. It's not got any better in my opinion. This is as bad as it was when we got the Spitfire boxing in 2020, and it hasn't changed. And I can't be using them again. Just take what I've just said and have a look at how that isn't the case here. Now you can see the paper, the kind of rippling of the paper behind the decal, but it's one solid block of colour. I mean, look at the density of that. There's better words, I think, here. Density is not the right word for colour, I don't think, but you get my point. Still, there we are. We're not building a Typhoon, nor are we looking at one. Anyway, that's the decals. The rest of the model's absolutely fine. So this is the etch metal, which is nice. Good bit of colour etch. We've got the pre-cut masks. Fantastic. That's the Profi Pack part. We've got the clear parts in their own bag with nice protection. Stunning. Look at that, glowing, totally crisp, fantastic. Don't know what's going on there. It's an interesting bit of moulding. Yeah, look at that. All of this, Eduard they don't miss a beat here. They're getting better and better and better. They just should. Well, it's up to them what they do, isn't it? It's their model business. I'm sure they're making plenty of money and they ain't worried about it. So let's get into some plastic. Now, here we go. Look at that. Wowzers. Yes, please. There we go. Good stuff. Are Eduard a big company now? I guess they are. Still think of them as a small company, but I suppose they're doing extremely well for themselves. Look at these, no one's coming out with models looking like this in the big players. Tamiya, Airfix. God, nearly said Revel. I can't think who else they're still beating them hands down. The crispness, the moulding, The detail, a bit of flash with all that said. Nice rockets and the tanks. Fantastic stuff. Really don't disappoint there. Yeah, look at that. Not meant to be rivets on the wings for Mustangs because they're puttied. Where there is meant to be rivets, plenty of them. Rivets all over the ailerons, the flaps. Nice fabric detail on the elevators and the rudder on the other sprue. Rivets on the tail, horizontal stabilizers. Exceptional stuff. Cleanly molded. Perfect. Last bag has 3 sprues in it. So let's have a look. We've got the propeller blades. All different types here. Obviously they're 2 put together to make up the 4. But we've got 3 different types of blade. 4 different even. Different hubs. Different nose combs. Rivets all on that detail. Recess detail there. Brilliant stuff all over. More detail here as well. These are where the wheel wells are. Fantastic stuff. Let me guess. Hollowed out exhausts. Yep. God, they're just beating everyone by doing stuff like that. Hollowed out gun barrels from slide molding coming in this side. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Haven't seen an ejector pin, even on this part, with that difficult recessed detail on the reverse side and the detail on the exterior side as well. These are obviously the landing gear doors. 2-piece wheels. I expect they're always going to do that because that's a good way of selling their resin wheels. But I've got a feeling they could do that differently if they wanted to. And then we've got the cockpit detail, and just look at that for a sprue. Such finesse all over. You do have the actual instrument panel in plastic with bezel detail, if you want to use the decal. Cockpit floor, which I think is wooden. I think this bit's wooden. Just fantastic moulding. 10 out of 10 there. Well, there we go. So, this kit, instructions, 10 out of 10. Moulding, plastic quality, 10 out of 10. Clear parts, 11 out of 10. Photo etch and max being included in the kit, 10 out of 10. Kit price, very reasonable, 9 out of 10. Decals, 2 out of 10. Nothing to do with application, just how they look on the sheet and how they look on the model. I've used them in the past. I shan't be using them in the future until something changes. It's just a shame, but there we are. It is what it is. Very good. Nice marking schemes. Slightly redundant with the deco issue, but for me, fantastic model. So as always, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. This is a model I look to be building in the sort of middle to long term on the channel, but we're going to be doing the Eduard. I've got the Iwo Jima boxing, so that's coming up soon on the channel, so I'm going to get that one built. Again, unfortunately, probably not using the decals on that one either because they're not very good, but we'll have a better look at it. They might be alright. I need to spend a bit of time looking at that, but there we are. Yeah, really good model. If you can make the decals work for you, it's fantastic straight out of the box. If not, there's plenty of aftermarket companies. Once you buy one set, you got enough for plenty, and you can always just pick up the weekend editions. So there we are. Thanks for watching. As I said, let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next video.